For this particular election, we are going to go into the Anambra governorship election with a total of 5,720 polling units. So these polling units are closer to the people. Pregnant women will be in a position to access the polling units easily. The elderly will access the polling units easily. The persons with disability will access the polling units easily. So we are very, very confident and comfortable with the fact that we have taken the polling units closer to the people. Secondly, we have also devolved the continuous voter registration to the registration areas. Anambra State has a total of 326 registration areas. We devolved to all the registration areas, and we also carried out the CVR in the 21 local governments and also in our state office. So a large proportion of people, a large proportion of registrable registrants were able to register. So we are very confident, and we are also very, very comfortable with what we have done in relation to the issue of the CVR in Anambra State. We are also moving very, very fast in terms of civic and voter education to let people know that they can access some of these newly created polling units, because these newly created polling units will come into force for the first time during the Anambra governorship election. The Resident Electoral Commissioner for Anambra State is up and doing, and we are confident that we can deliver on the Anambra governorship election. Well, there are basically three identifiable challenges relating to the governorship election in Anambra. One is a general challenge with some specificity to Anambra State, and that is the security situation in the country and also the security situation in Anambra State. The security situation in all parts of the country is slightly unpredictable and flexible, and we also hope that working with the security agencies under the Interagency Consultative Committee on Election Security, that we can have some level of peace and stability that will enable us to deploy, and that the security agencies can guarantee some level of stability within the polling units and secure the environment so that the voters will have confidence that they can go out to go and vote. The second challenge relates to the behavior of the political elite, the behavior of the political parties in relation to the election. As you know, we had challenge with what we call conflicting court orders. Courts that did not have substantive and geographical jurisdiction assumed jurisdiction and issued all sorts of orders, and the commission had to obey some of these orders, and that created a lot of confusion. But we are happy that the Court of Appeal has stepped in and has stabilized the situation to a certain extent. The other identifiable challenge is that a lone election is very problematic. It's problematic in the sense that it is one election. The eyes of the entire governors of Nigeria will be on Anambra. All the political parties will concentrate on Anambra. The eyes of the international community will be there. Our new deployments and our new equipment and our new innovations will also be deployed there. So there will be a huge issue relating to perception in relation to the Anambra governorship election. But I can assure you that we have taken a look at all these things, and we are confident that if we have our eyes on the ball, and we have our eyes on the ball, that we can deliver. But the conduct and the delivery of a good election is a multi-stakeholder venture. It involves parties acting responsibly. It involves the security agencies securing the electoral environment. It involves the voters conducting themselves in a manner befitting of a country that understands the value of the electoral process. It also involves civil society groups and organizations mobilizing the citizenry, and also media educating people, and then the commission acting in a manner that shows some level of transparency that engenders trust in the electoral process, and then making sure that only the voice of the people will determine the outcome of the process. Getting ready for the election. The first thing we did was that we broke a 25-year-old jinx. The polling units, the last time polling units were created in this country was in 1996. And as at that period, Nigeria had a total registered voter population of 50 million. We went into the 2019 general election with a total registered voter population of 84 million and with the same number of polling units. This said, no, we need to change that narrative. We need to change that trajectory. And we convinced the Nigerian people on the need for us to create additional polling units. And Nigerians gave us the way to create additional polling units. And we have created additional polling units, and Nigerians are happy. The second thing we are doing is this continuous voter registration exercise that is ongoing. We will continue with this exercise up till June next year. And we are excited because for the first time, we introduced an online registration process. And the young men and women of this country have completely embraced it. So we're excited at the fact that we have gone towards that particular direction. We have also changed the narrative in relation to the nomination processes of political parties. Before, political parties submit the list and personal particulars of their nominated candidates manually. They plug these things into the premises of the commission. And when some political party has factions, the factions also arrive here. So what we have done was to create what we call a nomination portal. And then the moment political parties are about to conclude their party nomination processes, we give an access code to the national chairman of the party. And they upload the list and personal particulars of their nominated candidates into our INEC nomination portal. So we don't even see them. So that's one of the things we have created, and we're excited about that. But we also look forward to having a new electoral act that will lead us into the 2023 general election. We made very copious submissions and very serious proposals to the National Assembly relating to aspects of the electoral act that we want to see amended. You see, one of the big challenges we have is that there are permanent voters' cards in the hands of people who are not supposed to have them. There are people who went out of their way to go and use the vulnerabilities of our people, the poverty of the people, to buy up their voters' cards. So on election day, some of these people come to the polling units with some of these voters' cards and hand over to people who are not registered, and they use these voters' cards to vote. So when some of them come to the polling unit and they are unable to read their biometrics, they give us an incident form to fill, and then they're allowed to vote. We are not that nonsense anymore. So if you come with a voter's card that does not belong to you, we read their fingerprints. If he's unable to read, we read their facials. If he's not able to read their facials, you go home. So if you don't authenticate, you cannot vote during the election. But let me say this pointedly. Technology will not solve all the electoral challenges in this country. Technology can only facilitate the conduct of a good election. But when people are determined to engage in bad behavior or to continue with their bad behavior, it is very difficult for technology to arrest it. So while we are deepening democracy in Nigeria through the use of technology, we also expect the political elite to clean up their process, commit themselves to clean elections. And when they commit themselves to clean elections, things will move very well. But a situation where you go to the polling unit to go and attack pool officials does not make for a good election. A situation where you still want to go and carry the biometric voter accreditation device and destroy it will not make for a good election. So we need the security agencies to secure this environment for us, and we also need the political parties not to do things that are unwholesome or do things that will create an atmosphere of chaos at the polling units. Vote buying is a real and present danger. And the political elite started engaging in vote buying because our elections were getting better. Prior to this period, they used to engage middlemen who used to go to the various houses, go to community leaders to go and induce them. But because our elections were getting better, they needed to come and buy the votes at the polling unit. And they were using the poverty of our people to do that. But we believe that there's a time for everything. I know in some communities where people chased away vote buyers and decided to do the right thing because they were determined to do the right thing. But you know, as an electoral management body, there is a limit to what you can do on election day because you don't want to collapse your electoral process on election day. But we have been working with the ICPC, with the EFCC, and with the other security agencies on election day to make sure that vote buyers do not corrupt the sanctity of the electoral environment.